Ever wish there was like a handbook for life?
Yeah,
This deep dive isn't quite that, but
sure.
it comes kind of close.
Okay.
We're going to be diving into how those first few years, of childhood
Mm-hmm.
are even more impactful than you might realize. You sent in this excerpt from Love Is Not Enough.
Okay.
It's a video. It's by now owned and operated by Child Health BC.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, this one really got me thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with this quote from a Buddhist teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh.
Okay.
And he says, the greatest gift a parent can give their child is their own happiness.
Interesting.
What do you make of that? It seems, I don't know, kind of counterintuitive, right? Shouldn't it be all about the child?
Well, yeah, and that's, I think, where the science comes in,
Okay.
because it's surprisingly powerful. And
Yeah.
that quote,
Mm-hmm.
it really captures, I think, the message of the video, which is that a parent's well-being is key, not just for them, but because it directly shapes a child's development, especially in those first 3 years.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. Why those first 3 years are so crucial.
Yeah, so imagine this. By year 3, a child's brain is 80 to 90% of its adult size,
Wow.
but their body, only about 18%.
Oh, wow.
So much development,
Yeah.
crammed into such a short time. And what's happening during that time? Well, the brain is literally building the circuits for how we relate to others, manage emotions, how we pay attention, even handle stress.
So it's like those circuits are under construction.
Yeah,
And the quality of the materials really matters.
exactly. And the materials are the experiences a child has, especially with their caregivers.
Oh.
The video uses a really powerful example by saying it's like a child being deprived of light.
Okay.
So their eyes might be fine, but they'll never actually develop that capacity for sight
Right.
because those neural pathways weren't stimulated at the right time.
Wow. Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. So it's not just about loving your kid.
Right.
It's about being like emotionally present and regulated yourself.
Yes.
Because that's literally what's wiring their brain for life.
That's exactly what this video's getting at.
Wow.
And it's not about being perfect, because no parent is.
Right.
But the video talks about a study where researchers could actually predict a 1-year-old's attachment style, basically how they relate to others, based on their parents' styles 2 years before the child was even born.
Whoa, hold on. That's really making me think. So it's not nature or nurture. It's this complex interplay. And we're passing down way more than we realize, even before a child is born.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really highlights something, crucial, which is we inherit these patterns,
Right.
but we can become aware of them.
Okay.
And make different choices.
Yeah.
But kind of before we jump into that, what are your thoughts on that study?
Yeah.
What's your gut reaction to this idea that these patterns can be like predicted even before birth?
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a little daunting, like how much control do we actually have?
Right.
But I also think about, people who have broken negative cycles in their own families.
Yeah.
And that feels hopeful. Like change is possible.
That's a great point. And the video touches on that too. It's not about being like a perfect parent, which is impossible.
Right.
But it's about building resilience.
Okay.
And the video really emphasizes how crucial support systems are for parents.
Right. They talk about how it's actually a sign of strength to like acknowledge when you're struggling and reach out for help. It's like even that plant needs good soil to thrive, right? What would you say are like some of those nutrients that parents need?
It can be so many things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Could be having a partner, family, friends who listen without judgment. Maybe it's a therapist, who can help untangle those inherited patterns.
Right.
Even things like accessible childcare
Oh, yeah.
can make a huge difference. Giving parents that much needed break
Yeah.
to recharge.
That makes me think about how this video isn't just about like individual families,
Right.
but about society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
If those early years are so formative, shouldn't we be doing more to support like both kids and parents during that time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The video doesn't explicitly dive into policy or anything,
Right.
but it raises some big questions.
Yeah.
Like, what if affordable childcare wasn't a luxury, but like the norm? What if workplaces were more understanding of the demands of parenthood?
Yeah.
Even just having like open conversations about mental health, destigmatizing it so parents feel comfortable seeking help.
Yeah.
That could be huge.
It's like we often say it takes a village to raise a child, but are we actually like creating that village
Right.
with the resources and the support systems that parents need?
That's a powerful question, and I think it gets to the heart of what this video is about.
Hmm.
Understanding the profound impact of those early years, but also recognizing that parents don't have to navigate this journey alone.
Yeah.
There are things we can all do as individuals, as a society, to create environments where both children and parents can thrive.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The science of brain development, the power of those early experiences, the importance of support.
Right.
But I want to circle back to something you said earlier about breaking free from these inherited patterns.
Right.
How do we actually like do that? Where do we even begin?
It starts with awareness.
Okay.
You know, that study about predicting attachment styles?
Right.
That's not about doom and gloom. It's about realizing we're not starting from scratch, you know?
Yeah.
We carry the legacy of our own upbringing, the good and the bad.
So like step one is acknowledging that blueprint exists.
Yeah.
That we've inherited these ways of relating to other people.
Exactly.
Okay.
And from there, we can start to notice those patterns playing out in our own lives.
Okay.
How do we react to stress? How do we seek comfort or connection?
Yeah.
You know, those are clues to our own attachment style.
Okay. And once we're aware of those patterns, then what?
Right.
Because like knowing is one thing, but actually like changing those deep-seated habits just feels like a whole other challenge.
It is a process.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy.
Right.
But the good news is our brains are wired for change.
Okay.
It's called neuroplasticity.
Okay.
And it basically means we can learn and grow throughout our lives.
So even if those early experiences created some, less than ideal wiring,
Right.
it's not like we're stuck with it forever.
Not at all.
Okay. Okay.
Therapy can be incredibly helpful here, providing a safe space to kind of unpack those patterns and develop, healthier ways of coping and connecting.
Therapy. Got it.
Yeah.
What about those of us who might not be parents yet?
Sure.
Is there anything in this video that's like relevant to us?
Yeah.
Or is it more about like understanding the past?
It's relevant for everyone.
That's
Remember, these early experiences shape who we become,
right?
How we form relationships, how we show up in the world. Understanding the power of those early years.
Yeah.
It can make you a more compassionate partner, friend, family member, and yes, even prepare you for parenthood, if that's something you choose.
Okay, that's really resonating with me.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't just about like raising kids, right? It's about like understanding ourselves and the human experience a little bit better.
Exactly. And I think that's a great takeaway from this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the profound impact of those early years, but not feeling trapped by the past. We have more agency than we think.
Right.
And by understanding these concepts, we can start to create positive change in our own lives and in the world around us.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for taking this deep dive with me.
Of course.
And for helping unpack this video in a way that feels like empowering, not overwhelming.
My pleasure. It's always exciting to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully spark some curiosity for our listeners.
And to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about ourselves and the world around us, the better equipped we are to create a brighter future. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.